Ralph, you've been messing up words quite a bit tonight, more than usual. Are you okay? You got long COVID.
Burnt toast. Is that burnt toast?
Oh boy.
All right, here we go. And in 3, 2, 1.
Yippee-Ki-Yay, mother.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Podcast Classic. I'm Ralph Quartucci.
I'm Sean Paul Murphy.
I'm Deborah Murphy.
I'm John Quartucci.
I'm Chris Coker.
And I'm Drew Gould.
Nice. I thought I suggested this earlier when you weren't here, John, that we would rename this podcast The Old Couple and the Bully. You think that would work?
Can I just say something before we even get started? I just want to say how much I respect each and every one of you. And some of our viewers thought we were a little disrespectful to each other. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. We love each other. Yep. We wouldn't be doing this as long as we did. Now, is Ralph kind of a bully?
I am.
I mean,
100%.
I don't think he's as bad as...
All right, be quiet. Let's go. Gotta move on. All right, John, what'd you watch this week?
Well, okay, so I'm going to take a completely different form here. Anyone who knows me knows I am a gigantic baseball fan. And the last few years have been really disappointing, not just from a Red Sox fan standpoint, but just baseball in general. And I have been watching these playoffs, and they have been absolutely phenomenal. Every series has been great, really close games. I was disappointed today. I wanted to see the Guardians beat the Yankees, but the Yankees won. The Dodgers got knocked out, and they won 111 games. You didn't expect that. I think Houston's going to take the whole thing, but I'm telling you, my love for baseball has been renewed after watching these playoffs, and I certainly hope that the pennant and the World Series is going to be as good as these games have been. And there's a bunch of underdogs. San Diego is in it, which no one saw that coming. So that's what I watched. I've been watching every game that's been on. It's been fantastic.
You know, it's funny. I have the complete opposite reaction. I can't stand watching any of it anymore.
Oh,
even football to me is like, it's boring. Baseball, I guess I have nobody in the hunt, so it's, Tom Brady.
Well, I don't either, but that makes it good. All the emotions taken out of it. Have you watched any of the games?
No, don't care.
Oh, they've been great.
And since Tom's getting divorced, he's lost his mojo. It's weird. So I just don't feel like. And did Baltimore win or lose this week? I think they lost again. Right?
They lost.
They lost again. I
kind of wanted to start rooting for them, and now they go.
That team cannot close a game out. It's unbelievable.
It's analytics.
Yeah, analytics. I think Harbaugh thinks too much. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think he's.
When you're on the 20-yard line and it's fourth down, you have 3 yards to do. Just kick the freaking ball.
Yeah.
Put the ball through the.
They're the best kicker in football.
They got that, but they also believe that the quarterback can just run in and do it every time. And
he's going to get killed, okay, because he runs way too much.
Anyway, I just don't have the same love for sports that I used to. Chris, what'd you watch?
Actually, I just started watching something today on my lunch hour. It's on Netflix. It's called The Watcher.
I've heard good reviews of this one.
Yeah, it's it's based on a true story, and only the barest minimum of it is actually based on a true story. But I actually heard the story. I think it was on This American Life, and it was basically about these people who bought a house and started getting all these anonymous letters with all this detail about their life and weird stuff. And it got to the point where like they couldn't sell the house because it became a news story, and so they got stuck with this house and nobody wanted it. And apparently, like the people who lived in the house before were getting these letters. So naturally, the TV show is much more intense, and it's crazier, and it's very intense. But so far, it's pretty good. I've only watched a couple episodes.
Oh, this is a series, not a movie?
No, it's 7 episodes. It stars Naomi Watts is in it. Bobby Cannavale is in it as well, who was Joe DiMaggio in the Blonde movie we discussed.
Phil DiMaggio?
Yeah, Phil DiMaggio.
Phil.
I can't live that down in my mind. I say Phil DiMaggio.
And but all in all, I'm interested to see where it goes. But so far it's been pretty good. I think the only thing that's kind of annoying me a little bit already is like they're doing that thing where it's like, hey, we're going to throw up a possibility and we're going to knock it down pretty quick, right? So instead of like spending a couple of episodes creeping people out and like putting out a number of possibilities, it's like, oh, it's definitely this person. Oh, it's definitely not them, because of various issues. Anyway, so far I'm interested to see how if it sticks the landing, but so far it's pretty good.
Better than She-Hulk?
The Watcher.
No, not even close to.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I didn't
There's
think
a
that,
horror movie on
Great.
Shudder called The Watcher as well, which that's why I got confused by that one. I also heard it was based on the story in Maryland here, this guy Lisp, but I don't think that's what it's about. This guy, famous guy who killed his whole family and.
I mean, there could be elements of that, but like I said, I had heard this podcast.
Yeah, I heard this
about, these people who were getting these letters and like, yeah. I mean, it was like one of those things where it was like talking about things that you would have to be close to their house to see.
Like, oh, you were working out on your exercise bike.
Yeah.
That kind of
That's
stuff.
creepy.
Yeah, that would be haunting. That would bother
I had
me.
a girl that used to do that.
Bullying of a house, right?
Yeah, I think I saw that on like 60 Minutes or on some TV news thing.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was probably shown up in multiple places. It's weird enough.
All right, Drew, what'd you watch?
Well, I have continued my quest to find scary things. I have watched the first 2 episodes of The Watcher, which I am also enjoying. It's Ryan Murphy. So if you like American Horror Story, you'll both enjoy it. And you'll also know exactly what Chris described, which is, look at this idea. Never mind. Look at this idea. Never mind. But it's very entertaining so far. And the fact that it's only 7 episodes, I think is probably a good sign. And I'll watch Naomi Watts in anything, even when it burns me, like Good Night Mommy or whatever that crap was. So I watched a movie that I was not looking forward to, called Halloween Ends, which is the 3rd movie in the Halloween trilogy by Danny McBride and David Gordon Green. It's basically as awful as Halloween Kills, which was the 2nd one.
I hate
in a totally different way. So in a way, it's an innovation of crap because it's almost not by the same people in some ways. Also, I feel like a Halloween movie should have more Michael Myers and Laurie Strode in it than the movie actually does, which is disappointing. Yeah. And it's really sad because there's a promise. If you're going to make a trilogy, there's a promise in the first one they did in 2018, which is just called Halloween, which is different from Halloween, which is not the same one as Halloween, but it's all based on the original Halloween. But it doesn't pay off. And unfortunately, I just learned that they're going to do another horror trilogy, this time The Exorcist.
Yeah, I heard that.
Which will probably suck, but I don't know because I think I mentioned this after the show last week. There was actually an Exorcist TV show with Gina Davis just a couple of years ago, and the first season of that was actually really good. So I think you should check it out. I think that's on Hulu. So I gave up on horror for the rest of the week, and I discovered a show that I didn't know anything about. I've watched a few episodes. I'm totally enjoying it. The only thing I knew about it, it's a documentary show, is that a couple of movie stars bought a football team in Wales, and it's called Welcome to Wrexham, and it's about Ryan Reynolds and I'm totally blanking on his name.
The guy from
It's
Philadelphia.
Always Sunny.
Philadelphia.
They bought a team to try to jump it into a higher league, and it's just it's such a great series. It's so well done.
Kind of like Ted Lasso, right?
I guess I haven't watched that, but I think it's really very, sort of human and entertaining, and you meet players and you meet fans, and it's the two guys are so endearing. Like you're rooting for people who have already won everything in life, and because it's just sweet and funny. And so I'm enjoying that. That's I guess an FX show on Hulu. That's all I'm going to say about what I watched, but I do want to note that 2 giant hairy men died in this past week. One of them was Robbie Coltrane, Hagrid from Harry Potter. I've always, like everybody else, found him very entertaining, especially even in single scenes like in GoldenEye when he yells at Minnie Driver in her stripper cowboy outfit. The other one you might not know, although you should, Mike Shank, who was basically the co-star of American Movie, an all-time stone cold 1999 classic about a man and his dream to make a movie on his own. And Mike Shank was his best friend. He's one of the greatest friends ever on screen. Now I would say like a Rom and Beam level friendship. And he was so supportive of his friend, and it was only in his 50s, and he is sort of a completely unforgettable character. And then the guy who did that, Chris Smith, went on to do little things like Tiger King and other stuff that he's still making for Netflix. So it was an interesting week in horror, football, and fat, large men that died.
Okay. Sean and Debbie, our old couple. What do you got?
I'm proud to be an old person.
I'm proud
I
with you.
love being old. But what I was remembering while we were thinking about it was The Love Boat. I'm watching The Love Boat. It's
The original,
awesome.
or is there a remake?
The reality one?
The reality.
It's
one.
a reality
God.
remake.
It's
my
it's so
gosh.
good.
Really?
It's only 2
The real Love
episodes
Boat.
in, but I really love it because
Really?
I love the hosts of that show.
It's a
Oh,
reality
yeah, it's
show?
O'Connell. It's O'Connell and Romaine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a reality show. Now, I was following Drew's thing, except I'm going against him because I thought Beast had a really terrific trailer. I was hoping to see the movie in the theater. Didn't realize it was day and date on whatever streamer.
Peacock.
But I didn't like it. I liked it better than Drew, but that's not saying much. But then I liked it a lot more because afterwards I watched M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
And that is a total piece of garbage. It's a good idea for a half-hour Twilight
Would you
Zone.
also
Yeah, exactly. Twilight Zone episode. Yeah.
you also say it's like Drew said, innovative crap?
Old, no. But what's
even.
really striking now, Old, unlike most of M. Night's stuff, is was based on a novel. So I don't know if all the stuff I hate about the movie was in the novel, but then still he chose to make it.
Right.
But it has some of the worst dialogue I've ever seen in the movie. The laziest exposition. There's like a 6-year-old kid who walks up to everybody and says, "What's your name?" And they tell him, "Well, what do you do for a living?" Didn't you know? I mean, literally every character. It's like, could you think of more lazy writing than that?
Is it worse than The Happening? You ever see The Happening?
It's worse than The Happening.
I think
wow.
it is because it's boring.
Yeah.
It's mostly boring.
Was it happening with
The
Mel Gibson?
Happening, I was at least...
no, Happening was
that's
Mark
Signs.
Wahlberg.
Signs is good.
Yeah.
Where
Signs
the
is
plants attack, not attack, but
And then
wind
at
is
one
coming
point
for
they have
you.
to run from the wind. They're like,
Right.
"Oh no, it's the wind!" And they have to like run into the house. It's like
So great.
we're gonna spend the rest of our lives running from
so
the
it's
wind.
worse. It's worse than The Happening, huh?
Oh yeah.
I at least laughed all the way through. And like, what was that one, Water, where the water's...
Oh, Lady in the Water. That's a dreadful movie.
Yeah, I took my nieces to see that because they thought that was going to be crap, and it was.
He's really on a roll, huh?
No, but Old at least sounded good. You know, the best movie he's done in a long time was one he produced. Now it's been 10 years or more. Was Devil.
Right.
People
Yeah, that's
trapped
all right.
in the elevator movie I liked. But my
The
God,
elevator movie.
Old was really sloppy and really bad. It got old quick.
Oh,
So did the-
that. Wait,
I see what you did there.
Yeah, he's using old a lot tonight.
Nice.
Did you notice that? He's saying that a lot tonight.
Yeah, old is being used a lot.
Yeah, we're
We are
totally.
not old, are we, Dave?
Oh, we're pandering to the audience, Batman, right, chum?
Look at that
Well,
face.
maybe Ralph watched Bully.
No, I wish I had. No, I too. I'm going to talk about two things since everyone else is. I too watched Halloween Ends. I didn't go to the movie
Sorry.
theater. I streamed it on Peacock.
Me too.
And wow, what a piece of crap. And it had an interesting start.
Bad
Like
reviews.
it's a separate movie. It should have been, because that scene at the beginning that sets the whole thing up was pretty good, I thought. You know, where the
That's
kid was
fair.
babysitting, yeah. But the decisions they made, and I didn't like the second one, Halloween Kills. I mean, I kind of walked out of that one going, this should be Halloween Ends. We're done with this. And then they trot this thing out again, and it just didn't work. I'm glad I streamed it. It was streaming the same day it came out too.
Yeah, and it made $42 million at the box office. They're
How much
thinking...
it
Well,
Ben,
because everybody.
like 20.
And then
Oh,
I
they
did this thing where I'm in a thrift store And I'm
Wait,
hearing
hang on.
some
I want to
dude-
ask you. I want to ask you a question about Halloween Ends. I did spend a lot of the movie trying to figure out if the young lead was Willem Dafoe's son,
Oh, I have no idea.
because they had the same mouth and the same
Yeah.
eyes, and it looked like he stepped out of Streets on Fire. And I was
Yeah, I mean,
very
I-
distracted the whole
I
time.
kind of liked where they were going with him, but then some of the actions he did and
Yeah.
Laurie Strode's granddaughter, I guess, it just made no sense. It's like,
Yeah, it
and these are
wasn't good.
smart people who wrote this. You know, Danny McBride was one of the writers, and David Gordon Green, and it's just like, what are they doing? I don't get it. It was kind of a failure.
And they really depressed the box. It made a lot of money for day and date, but people think it could have gone $55 or more $million.
I think that's just because
this is
people are.
They say this could be the end of. This was another big lesson to Hollywood to stop the date and date release.
What's that mean?
It means they're releasing it on streaming
And at the movie theater simultaneously.
I think they do that. I think because they know the movie's crap and they're going to try to get as many eyes on it as they
It
can.
made
I don't know. I
$42
can't
million
figure it out.
But if
I
it's
feel like they
innovative
lucked out at the
crap-
box office.
Yeah, they did. But then I'm in a thrift store and I'm hearing some guy explain to somebody about Halloween Ends, and he kept saying, and it'll be on Peacock in a month. You know, do you ever do that when you're hearing somebody talk and you want to go over and they go, no, it's already on, it's already there. What are you talking about? You're driving me crazy. But anyway.
Beast was day and date too. I think also on Peacock.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was.
I don't understand that, but okay. And so on Drew's recommendation, I actually streamed and watched all of Blackbird in one night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, amazing. You're 100% right. The lead actors,
glad.
especially the guy playing the serial killer guy, who was in the Atlanta bombing film that Clint Eastwood did.
Yeah, Richard Jewell.
Richard
and
Jewell.
I, Tanya. He's
He was.
amazing.
I was a little. The very first episode that started when the narration started, and it seemed like it was going to go a little bit cheesy, and it didn't. And it was an amazing. And all the lead actors, Greg Kinnear's in there, Ray Liotta's in there. The woman playing the FBI person, I fell in love with. I have no idea who this actress is.
Yeah, I had never seen her before, but she's really compelling.
She played it, the way she played it, and how it's great. Great series. I'm glad you recommended it. It's only 6, so it's an easy watch. And it's based on a true story. So you start reading about all the stuff, and it's pretty amazing. A lot of fun.
Oh, good. I'm
one.
glad you enjoyed it.
Blackbeard, Apple Plus. All right.
Blackbird.
Tonight, Blackbird. I'm sorry, Blackbird. Tonight,
Blackbird's a good movie.
John
It is. That's true.
brought the film that he hasn't seen, a horror film he hasn't seen. John, what did you bring?
Yes. So let me, before I do that, I just want to say something since everyone's talking about 3 different things when they're only supposed to talk about one.
You had your option.
I heard a rumor that they're remaking the Police Squad movies with Liam Neeson playing Leslie Nielsen's kid. Now, if that's true, that would be hilarious because he's
That's
very
pretty
funny.
inspired, actually.
Yeah, I really like that a lot.
Oh, that's funny.
The other thing I want to say is, and this is going to be a test for all our new Indian fans out there. We've done 3 Indian films in our, you guys have given us a lot of views and great comments, and we certainly hope you'll stick with us as we go forward, and you'll enjoy this. So I had the pick, and I was supposed to pick a horror film. And I definitely went a little different route because, frankly, the last 4 movies we've watched have been pretty heavy. And I wanted to go not just straight horror. So Ralph had mentioned this movie before, and I watched the trailer. And I said, you know what? I'm going to watch this movie and see what it's about. And it's 2010's Tucker and Dale versus Evil. And I have to tell you, I have not laughed out loud as much in a long, long time as I did during this movie.
Oh, jeez. Whoa, Jesus.
Did you see the way those guys looked at us?
Who wants to go skinny dipping?
So what it is these college kids go up to the Appalachian Mountains to camp, and they meet a couple of hillbillies played by Tyler Labine and Alan Tudyk, who Alan Tudyk I absolutely love.
Yeah,
he was on one of my favorite science fiction shows, Firefly. He played Wash. He's the voice of Joker on Harley Quinn. The guy is one of the best actors that you know his face, but most people don't know him. He's amazing. They're both really good in this, and they're sweet, earnest.
He's the pirate in Dodgeball, right?
Yeah, he's a pirate. That's right. He's the pirate in Dodgeball. And they're the sweetest guys in the world, but through circumstances.
Well, it plays like a regular horror film, right?
Yes.
And they
it takes the horror genre of a bunch of kids in hillbilly world and it flips it. And every preconception you have of a movie like that, it gets flipped on its head, but through circumstances. Like there's a scene where he wants to talk to this hot Katrina Bowman, who was on 30 Rock. She is beautiful in this
great
movie. Yeah. But he goes to talk to her, and Alan Tudyk says, just smile and laugh. Just go over there and smile and laugh. And he goes over with a big scythe, those like Death has it, a sickle. And he starts going, hey, you guys camping? So now they're all freaking out. So through these circumstances, these kids end up getting killed by mistake. And it's their reaction to it. These really nice guys who are just going to their vacation home and trying to have a good time and go fishing. And they end up saving the girl's life, but they think they're kidnapping her.
No, the friends think they're kidnapping her.
Yeah, the friends, right. And they can't figure it out. Like there's a scene where the girl's knocked out and she's on the bed and he comes walking in with a tray for breakfast. But the way they shoot it, the door opens, it's only a silhouette, and she's all freaked out. And he goes, "What, you don't like pancakes? I'll make something else."
Oh, it's some pancakes. You hate pancakes? I'm gonna make you something else.
What am I doing
It's
here?
just so fun. And for me, the funniest scene in the movie, there's a lot of them. But the one that I just busted out laughing was when he's at the shredder and the guy's running behind him and leaps into it and he grabs his legs trying to pull him out and he's just shaking the legs and there's blood going everywhere. I mean, this is a definitely a horror movie. It's definitely violent.
It's bloody.
But
the
hillbillies never actually kill anybody.
No, they don't.
It's the kids are all committing suicide.
It's a suicide
just
pact.
That's the
It's
whole.
like they think it's a suicide pact.
It was directed by Eli Craig, who did Zombieland. He wrote it and directed it.
Didn't know that.
And the interesting thing was, for some reason, and I couldn't find out why, but it was shelved for 3 years after it was done. And frankly, I never heard of this movie till Ralph brought it up, so I don't know why it didn't do better, because it really is a funny, the way it spins the genre. In fact, here are some great lines that I wrote these down. I already said one, just smile and laugh. And then one of the guys gets his fingers cut off, and they open the fingers. That guy was, that's his bowling fingers.
Those are his bowling fingers.
And then the other one is this.
That was my favorite line.
So they got blood all over them. They got half a corpse. Well, they're going to bury it. The cop shows up. He goes, "Yeah, this day's been just a doozy. It's been a doozy." It was just.
I love how the cop got killed.
Oh yeah,
Just sitting there talking,
right.
and they already set up that this thing was about
Of course. But when he's sitting there, but you didn't expect him to go on for 5 minutes with the board in his head with the nails. You figured he'd just go down. And then the kid with the gun. It's just, I'm just telling you, with the heavy movies that we've been watching, first of all, it was short, which was nice. But it was just laugh out loud funny. It was a little bit scary. I mean, I don't mean like a real horror film, but it definitely was pretty intense. And the two leads were great. The two guys playing the hillbillies were really, really good. It had a nice ending to it.
They hit on every
it really
trope.
did. And
they hit on every
And if you
trope
haven't seen this movie,
It was meta.
go
was
see this
definitely meta.
movie, because it was laugh out loud funny. It really
the very
was.
first scene where he chainsaws through the beehive.
Oh yeah, that guy was running. I've never seen anyone run that fast. He must really be afraid of bees.
But the way he comes out like the Texas Chainsaw, right,
With the smoke coming from it too.
Now, from what I understand, the DVD release,
yeah,
there's a special on that where they show it from the kid's perspective,
Right.
and all the two guys come off as evil,
Right.
the killers. I would love to see that, because
that is a DVD that when I read that now this is a DVD that I definitely want to get.
Yeah.
I don't have it. So anyway, to our fans out there, our Indian fans, check it out, because it is really funny. At least I think. I don't know how everyone else feels, but that's my little. That's why I picked it, and I'm glad I did. It was great. Loved it.
Well, John, when you mentioned about the fingers, them losing the fingers, the follow-up was when he got them put on his hand.
Oh yeah, they put my finger.
It was like fingernail polish. They got the wrong thing.
Yeah. No, that's yours. Yeah, that's yours. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it looks good. My fingers seem a little different, and you can definitely tell that they're thinner and better. And they got fingernail polish on them.
Oh, and that says something for the hospital that put the fingers on.
Yes.
Hey, they would put any fingers that would work on them anyway.
I like drinking the beer with the straw in the hospital too. I love that.
Well, I mean,
Well, you know what? This movie, I gotta say,
It's a PBR.
this
Yeah, right.
reminds me so much of Dumb and Dumber. You know,
It is the horror
It was
movie
like-
Dumb and Dumber.
so hilarious because I love Dumb and Dumber. It's just so smart. It was well written, as well as this movie. But when I first started watching this movie, I was thinking it reminded me of a commercial of Geico where the kids are, that commercial where
they
they're
go
like,
behind the shed. They
yeah.
do all
Oh,
the
yeah,
wrong
right.
things. They
Yeah.
do all
Yeah,
the wrong
yeah.
things.
And you
I
see the
thought-
killer just rolling his
Right.
eyes.
I could
shaking
see
his
the
head.
writer thinking, "Oh, let's steal from this," this commercial. But actually, it is like Dumb and Dumber. I mean, really, the smart people against the hillbillies. Smart people against the dumb people.
But the hillbillies weren't dumb.
The hillbillies
That's the whole
weren't dumb,
point of
though.
the
That was the
film.
point.
The
Yeah,
point
that's-
was that these are
that's
regular
where it
guys
flipped.
who just
But
look
they
a
were-
little funky.
The kids were morons.
Yeah, totally.
Well, college kids,
They're all,
kids.
They really
made
played
a
that
big
up.
deal of that, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because there's something to be said with dumb people, and they were not really dumb. And the gritty kind of people that live in the outside in the world, like where they were from, Virginia or what? We were from Virginia, right?
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
And
That's for lovers. No, that's Virginia. Sorry.
and it's just funny to see that flipped on itself. The college kids.
I love. That's what when I recommended. I recommended this movie a couple years ago. I think.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
love the way it's what Cabin in the Woods did. I thought much better, right? Cabin in the Woods flipped the whole thing, but this one
That was also more serious too.
100%, 100%. But every horror movie trope that you've ever seen, that very first gas station they go into, you see all the weird stuff, and even when they walk in their cabin, he goes, "This guy must have been I forget what he said, an adventurer or something." All the weird stuff that was hanging in their
The
cabin,
newspaper
the
clippings.
newspaper clippings of all the killings, and everybody's just so the guys are just innocent. They're just want to set up their vacation home.
But their
and fish.
introduction when they went side by side in the truck and that
Yeah.
music is playing and they're just staring at them, I'm going, oh man.
Yeah, so much fun.
But you know what? I thought one thing that's kind of surprised me is when they're talking to the sheriff and the sheriff goes in, and the sheriff's kind of calm. I thought they were going to reveal that the sheriff was involved in the original killings somehow.
Oh yeah.
And was like looking at these guys as kindred spirits.
Yeah.
And when he got that plank with those nails in the head, it was a real. And he just kept walking and walking. Oh, maybe he's going to be all right.
That's the only nitpick I had was the guy playing the cop was a little bit, I don't know. I just thought he didn't get the joke, whether his character or the actor didn't get the joke. I didn't like the way he played it, but that's my only, and the main guy with the axe,
thought they were gonna do
the kid
something
with the
different.
axe, the college kid with the axe,
Yeah, the preppy.
I forget what he called him, frat boy or whatever, the preppy guy. But all in all, Alan Tudyk and the partner there would just stole the
Tudyk.
show. What's his name?
Tudyk
Of course.
with a D.
That's what I said. Didn't I say that?
No, you said
I like
Tudyk.
the idealistic college
Tudyk,
girl. I don't
Tudyk.
know what her name is. But when she was trying, she's like a person who's going to, the young people are so idealistic and they just want to, hey, now come on. She was
Sit
trying
down.
to
Yeah.
sit down. Let's sit down.
Yeah, that whole therapy session.
That therapy session was worth $1 million because, that's how a lot of young people are.
Well,
That's
she was
how
terrible.
I
She was
talked to
terrible.
a lot of young
Yeah,
people.
she was a bad therapist.
He's bad.
No, she was great. Because
She kept
I've
getting
seen her in a
knocked out
couple
too.
of
I thought that
yeah.
was pretty funny. She kept
Yeah, and like the
getting
one
knocked out.
partner's like, keep an eye on her. She has a tendency to fall down.
All right, Chris, did you watch this? You watched the film, so.
Yeah, I watched it.
Did you watch it,
Did you
Chris?
watch it with Henry? Did Henry watch it?
No,
Oh.
I did not watch this with my children.
Okay.
It's funny, they say comedy is probably the most subjective of ever. I just didn't really care for this movie. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was that
man.
original.
I see that. I see that, Chris.
I don't know what it was about it, but I was just like, I didn't find it scary at all. And I know it's a comedy.
It's not scary.
It's not
No, it's
supposed to
not.
be
But
scary.
I kind of was expecting it to do. I was kind of hoping or expecting something a little bit more along the lines of like the original Scream. Remember how that was very funny, but yet it also had some legitimate scare horror in it.
Yeah.
I was expecting something more like that, and I don't know. I just didn't find it all that funny. I thought like I could see a lot of the gags a mile off.
Well, that's true.
I think that's the point.
that is true. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, that's the
I don't know. It
point.
didn't do it
Chris,
for me.
did you like Dumb and Dumber?
Loved it. Dumb and Dumber's
You didn't see the similarity there?
not particularly, because in Dumb and Dumber it was like you have two guys that are truly stupid.
Oh,
right?
not the two
But
guys.
they get through life because of their just general amiable good natured.
right.
You know? Well, in these guys weren't really that stupid. They were amiable and good natured, like they were like Lloyd and Harry and Dumb and Dumber. But I don't know. It just didn't click with me. I kind of watched it and I was like, meh. It just didn't really.
I think the Dumb and Dumber was the one group, the college kids, and then the locals.
I was
with those
expecting.
groups.
Debbie really wants this Dumb and Dumber comparison, huh?
Oh, I
my
think
God.
that's hilarious. That
She has been saying that.
It's hilarious.
I
when
believe
think
you.
about
With it now.
How you think about college, you think about how they think they're so smart, as we're older now.
Sure.
And
I was much more sure of myself in
and
college than
just
I
to
am.
see how
Right?
that how
Especially with my
people
intellect.
are. How they're stereotypes.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I was expecting maybe Brad, the preppy guy, to be a little bit more evil than he really was. I don't know. I was also expecting the versus evil to be more evil. I don't know. It just didn't connect with me.
I don't know. I thought Chad was pretty evil.
Yeah.
I remember when this,
I mean, he did the whole peril
He
of
was trying to-
Pauline thing.
yeah,
He tied it to
exactly.
the thing to get
Oh,
sawed
God.
in half.
That's so familiar.
I mean, come on. That was evil.
Yeah. I mean, he was evil, but I don't know. I just
See, Chris, it's tough. It's tough in this group when you don't like a film, isn't it? People get all over you. Oh my
No,
God.
listen.
with me.
well, at least he
Right.
watched it.
We're trying to convince
Yeah, at least you
otherwise.
watched it, Ralph.
Drew,
At
jump
least
in.
we're bullying him.
Something intellectual about the film, Drew. Come on.
Well, one clarification, not a correction. There are two Zombieland feature films, Zombieland and Zombieland Double Tap, and those are directed by Ruben Fleischer. What Eli Craig directed, which I haven't seen, I guess they were going to do a Zombieland TV series,
Oh.
and he directed the pilot of that. I think it's on IMDb just as a TV movie, but generally if a TV movie is from a property that already exists, it means they didn't pick up the show. So I don't know if it's good or not. Also, what I think is more interesting about Eli Craig is that he's Sally Field's son, which I just found out when I was looking up stuff about this movie.
I like her.
I like her too. I really like her too. And I really like this movie. I remember I watched it. I remember, because I'm picturing it, the disc from Netflix that came in the mail. And this was one of those movies that I had heard about and I had been looking forward to. And it won a lot of awards and got some attention, and nobody really picked it up and distributed it. I'm not sure why, because it obviously, it got a following on home video and everything. But the biggest thing I remember is that it's very funny. It's really, really much wetter and squirtier and grosser than I expected, which also made it very funny. And Katrina Bowden, or Bowden, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. She's the one, she plays Cherie on 30 Rock. And on 30 Rock, she is just this smoking hot, kind of simple girl who gets treated like a queen because she's gorgeous. And then I saw this movie and it was like a revelation because she's a fine actress and she's very funny. And the chemistry between her and Tyler Labine is so charming.
Yeah.
And so sweet and so unexpected, which of course is the point.
Right.
And it is as sweet and as real feeling as the chemistry between Tyler Labine and Alan Tudyk, between Tucker and Dale.
Tudyk.
And I thought he looks like Steven Weber, if that makes you feel better.
He does. He does.
I think the movie is really fun. It's really funny. It's almost entirely practical effects, which it's kind of cool now to go back and let's make a Star Wars movie with practical effects and stuff. But back then they did mostly practical effects because they didn't have a lot of money and they were trying to be creative, and that's really nice. And also watching it again made me want to watch Cabin in the Woods again.
Yeah.
Because I love that movie. That movie has some very, very funny stuff in it, but it's one of those movies. It also plays with all those tropes of horror movies and all that imagery. And the more horror movies you've watched, the more that you're going to get the references and enjoy it. And if you don't get the references, there's still so much stuff that's creepy and weird and all these different things. And then the movie actually becomes this like hugely serious, smart, thoughtful ending. And Tucker and Dale versus Evil was just really fun. I'm not sure that I love the very last scene where Tyler Labine and Katrina Bowman are smooching instead of stopping an abduction of a female bowler, but that's not out of the line with the rest of the film.
What was his friend's name? The guy with the no teeth.
I can't remember, but yeah. So I really enjoyed it, and John's already really addressed most of this, but I get the impression that you haven't watched a ton of these kind of movies. I don't think you've watched, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th and all those movies. So I was kind of curious, like a lot of the comedy isn't, you can, but it's not really designed like, oh, I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so I get that. That's why it's funny. Or I've seen Friday the 13th, or I've seen Evil Dead, but you don't have to know those things to enjoy it. So I was kind of curious, like this movie has the vibe of those movies. And we talked about the structure, like the Herald at the gas station and all that kind of stuff. So I was glad that you didn't come out of it saying it was funny, but I didn't get it, because I don't think you need to have seen all those movies. But if you have, then you'll like it.
And I've seen enough of them that, it's not hard to figure out.
Yeah, it's not like Cabin in the Woods, where the more of those movies you've seen, I think even the more you'll get out of it.
Right.
Plus, Cabin in the Woods has Chris Hemsworth before he was Thor, so you would enjoy that.
Sean, and just so you know, Krista Bowden was also in Piranha 3DD. Katrina Bowden.
Yeah, she was in that.
I'm looking right at it, and I said Krista. She's also in this movie I keep seeing video clips for, called Sex Drive. Have you seen this movie?
Oh.
Came out in 2006. 2008. A lot of improv in that film, and she's in that one as well. And she's in that Great White movie that I saw. I just became a big, obviously, fan of hers, but
because she's a good actress.
She's a really good actress.
She's a good
especially
and
that
hot
scene.
actress,
That scene on the rock where she fell in. She did that very, very well, I thought.
Right? She didn't have to take everything off to be super sexy.
It was very cold.
Yeah. So I just loved it because of what Drew was saying, just the flip on all the tropes, and all the kills were pretty nasty.
Yeah,
and
great.
All of them were accidents, which just made it just so funny. And you
got to take the safety off there on the back.
And you knew right away the kid was going to shoot. You knew he was going to go.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, that was hilarious.
It still made it funny. Yeah. What are you telling him to take the safety off for?
What? Don't.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, all right. So let's rate this guy. This is a nice short review. I like this.
Yeah.
Short movie.
Short review. Chris, what's your review?
I'm gonna have to say Yippee-Ki-Yay. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't do it for you. It happens.
I really like Cabin in the Woods, for example.
That's a totally different movie.
Yeah. Well, yes and no, but
this is a comedy.
I'm trying to think of there's other horror comedy type films that are not like smart ones, like Stab, not Stab. What's that one?
Scream.
Oh my god! Stab is the movie in the movie. Stab is the movie in the movie.
You're not wrong. You're not. Wrong.
There are some
scary movie. Scary movie.
Well, that's a little.
That's more like Airplane, right?
Yeah,
that's
more.
Where do you put Shaun of the Dead? Is that
right? Shaun of the Dead is.
I would put that with Shaun of the Dead.
That's the premier example.
Yeah, that's up here. This one's down below that. But I still love.
Well,
I say Yippee-Ki-Yay, Tucker and Dale. I loved it. And Aaron Tudyk, is that his name?
No,
Adam.
Alan.
What's
Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk?
God. No, you're
He's
such
fantastic.
a bully.
Love him. And I love the guy, his partner, too. He was good, too.
Who, Teddy Lavin?
I don't know. I don't care. I loved him as the pirate in Dodgeball. I think he was the Firefly movie, right? Serenity.
He played Wash.
Serenity.
Yeah, it was a TV series, though.
He was great. It's a lot of fun. So, Sean and Debbie, rate.
loved it.
I loved it, but you know what?
Here's what we say on this podcast. We say Yippee-Ki-Yay or nay.
I say yay.
Keep up with the branding, please. I hate to be a bully, but keep up with the branding.
That's okay.
As much as I enjoyed it and would say Yippee-Ki-Yay, don't you wish we'd have seen the Indian horror film Tumbad instead, which everyone
I
is
wanna watch
recommending
that.
to
Sean,
us.
Let's
It is
watch
on my
that.
list.
Sean, you are unbelievable. I cannot believe.
Banter.
Wow. You're good. You're good. John,
No, these
obviously
Indian
you like
movies
it.
have just been really
I
refreshing.
know.
Drew, what's
Ralph,
your rating?
Ralph, you shouldn't pick on the older people. That's not right. That's elder abuse.
Why not?
I say Yippee-Ki-Yay, of course. It was fun to revisit this movie. I haven't watched it in a long time.
And I
so
give it.
thank you for bringing
I was
John.
excited. I hadn't seen this. I didn't know what to expect, and I'm really glad I saw it.
I think
really
I
liked
too
it.
want to find.
So what
the
are you
Blu-ray.
giving it, John? You had a thumbs up, but are you?
Yeah,
is it
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Okay.
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
See, branding. It's all about the branding. All
Did
right,
we
good one.
tell people to smash or anything?
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead, Sean. You can do it.
I think we should,
people to smash.
smash
I don't know,
that
Grandpa.
subscribing button.
Oh my God, that is so sad.
And get all the notifications.
What? Should we tell them to hit the like button?
on the Facebook. Is it on
Let's
the
make
Facebook?
Tumbad the next film. Whoever gets
All
it.
right, here we go. 3 left, and then there were 3. Hey, all right. Here's what I'm gonna do because Drew already mentioned this film, and I've never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the
The
original.
original?
Oh, wow.
Never seen it.
Okay.
And I didn't see it for all the reasons I don't like to see those films, but I really want to, especially after watching this one, I kind of want to see the OG. I want to go back and see Tobe Hooper's original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So that's what I'm going to bring next week. John,
Okay.
enjoy it. I think you'll love it. So,
I've only seen it once,
really?
for me, which is odd for a
I
horror
thought
movie.
you'd have a
I will
16
say-
millimeter print.
I
No?
will say to John, it's not, and this is not a criticism because I think it's a fantastic movie. It's not quite whatever you imagine it to be.
I think that's what's going to happen, too.
It's a movie that has a certain kind of reputation, including of quality, that it totally deserves. But also, if you asked a random person who hasn't seen the movie in 30 years, was this in the movie? Was that in the movie? Was it? They'd be like, oh, yeah. But so much of it is what you put into it in your own head. So it is absolutely worth a watch. So that's a good pick. I think that'll
Now,
be
that's
fun
the one
watching
starring
as you guys
Gunnar
watch it.
Hansen, right?
I don't remember who played. They've made so many of them.
I'm talking about
Is
the
there a
original.
wood chipper in it?
And he was in a movie with
Definitely
Debbie.
Chainsaw.
Oh, he was. Oh, that's cool.
Not talk about that.
I'd prefer a wood chipper.
Okay. I think
I got
John
him wedged
too.
inside here. I
Fargo.
got him wedged inside. Can you help me unwedge
I
him?
actually think it's going to be less gory than this film. I'm just
You
going to
gotta
make a
wedge it.
prediction. I think it's
We'll
going to be
talk about
intense, but I think it's going to be less gory. But we'll see.
Okay.
Like I said, I've never seen it, so I can't wait.
And where's it available on?
I have
That's a
no
good
idea.
question.
Okay.
It's got to be everywhere. It's probably on
Or
Criterion.
It is
Criterion.
ubiquitous.
No,
Okay.
it's not on Criterion.
It's not
I'll
on
find out right
Criterion.
now.
Shocked.
I use Just Watch or something. Let's see what it says.
It's on
Well-
Showtime, AMC, and Shudder.
Oh, so Shudder. There you go.
And make sure you're watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974, not the 7 other movies. Also
Yeah, not
called
the 7,
Texas
not the
Chainsaw
new one that
Massacre.
just came out. This is the Tobe Hooper original. Okay.
And starting a new
My
trend. It's
God,
only an
there are a
hour and
lot
20
of
minutes. So
An hour
you
and
go.
20. You're welcome,
Oh no,
everybody.
I could be into
You're
that.
welcome.
That's one.
We'll give you-
That's
you
one
can watch
workout.
other
All
things.
right.
I hope it's on Paramount Plus if it's on Showtime.
I don't think it is.
Sean, spend the $3.99 and rent it. I don't
Easy
need
for
to-
you.
Ralph, ease
No, it's
up,
Oc-
will you?
It's
Jesus,
October.
give the
It's
guy-
October. You could always
They're
catch
on,
Shudder.
you
and
know, they're on a
AMC.
fixed income with Social Security. Give them a break. What the hell?
Okay, here's
So I
here's
didn't mean to bully. It's ageist.
Wow, Ralph.
Jeez.
That's
Elder
not
abuse.
respectful at all.
Elder-
That's just not respectful.
Sorry.
It's on Freevee.
Oh, okay. There you go.
All right. Well, anyway, watch Texas
That's definitely
I'm
a
not
movie
gonna
you wanna
watch
watch
3D
edited.
again. It drove us.
Massacre.
We watched Ninth Protocol on Freevee. And it was the
Ninth-
same commercial every 5 minutes.
Ninth configuration or ninth protocol?
Ninth configuration.
Ninth configuration.
Okay.
Oh, I
There
thought that
was
was-
Tell you
Ninth
one thing.
Protocol, too.
All right, our modern technology. Now, when we watch anything with an ad, we can't stand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
We can't stand it. How did we watch?
Listen, I watch, when I do watch football, I watch that Red Zone,
Yeah.
and it's 7 hours, no commercials. I mean,
Yeah.
you're jumping all over the place, but it's just wild. All right.
We just DVR them.
Everybody, John, good pick. That was great. Sorry, Chris
Very
didn't
good.
like it, but it's good. You know. I
No,
like
hey, listen, that happens,
I like
right?
there's a little bit of disagreement. That's fine. It's
It
awesome.
makes you want to subscribe, doesn't it? It makes you want to subscribe.
No, I want
conflict.
to
And
subscribe.
thank you
is
to
good.
you. We've had over 150 subscribers over the last 3 episodes, so thank you for
Welcome.
that. Really appreciate that.
Yes.
Oh, it is on Paramount Plus for free.
Sean is just like singularly focused down there in the corner.
To our Indian audiences and our fans from India, namaste.
You guys
Oh
are
God!
unbelievable.
Oh, wow!
Amazing.
Wow!
All right, everybody have a
Wow.
good week. Everybody here and in India and everywhere else that people watch our show.
Everybody
All right,
else.
I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the movie.
This was a short one. Yeah, baby.
Baby.
Well, the old people have an early bedtime.